Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mitchell Miller, and hey, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the power of patience, why waiting can make her want you more. All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking about why you should take your time when trying to attract new women into your life, okay? Now, with this video right here, I'm going to go ahead and preface this up front. If you've never studied laws of attraction or different coaches that know how attraction works between a masculine man and a feminine woman, this video is going to be new to you. In fact, I didn't know any of this up until a couple months ago, and I can tell you right now that this is one of these things that I wish they taught in school, because the shit that you see online, the videos of if a guy gets broken up with, he starts chasing her to get her back, and stuff like that, it doesn't work. That's not how reality plays out, okay? So right here, the concept of being patient in dating is, you got to understand that, I learned this from Corey Wayne, who's the coach I'm studying right now, and very successful life coach, very popular for relationships and whatnot. And he learned this from Doc Love, who's another guy that I'm studying. And basically, women are like cats, okay? You have to let the woman feel comfortable coming to you at her own pace. And if you look back at some of your relationships, if you've ever been broken up with a girl and she's ever told you that she needs time and space, or time and space to heal, so I've been told I need time and space to heal, what that means is you're smothering this girl. She doesn't feel like she can be herself in that relationship. And unfortunately, I'm admitting to you that I've done this, because I've had a breakup like that before. And so when you understand that, women want to feel comfortable coming to you on their own. Women are going to do what they want, when they want, with who they want. And if she's choosing to come to you over every other guy that she has an option to go to, she's showing you that she respects you, that she loves you, that she cares for you. She wants your attention and no one else's. So when it comes to being patient, you need to let this build up in her mind. Being patient with her, letting her come to you, is going to show her, hey, you are safe coming to me. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not needy. I'm not going to suck the energy out of you. I'm not controlling, etc., etc. A lot of the insecurities mainly are going to come from anxious people. So someone I like to think I oscillate back and forth between anxious and secure depending on who I'm dating. Anxious people are typically going to be the guys that have that insecure behavior, where we're going to double text, triple text, and that to her, that's going to signal hey, this guy's very needy, he's seeking my validation out all the time. That's not a very manly, masculine thing to do. And so that's why I'm filming you this video, because you have to understand, don't make these mistakes like I've done in the past. It will ruin any chances you have at getting or keeping the woman of your dreams, okay? Now, again, let me preface this, that the relationship dynamic that you're in, while these do apply, there are times where if you get broken up with, or the relationships the dynamics don't work, it might not be your fault, okay? It might not be your fault, and you're not going to realize that until you can later reflect on the relationship. Now, right here then, I've already told you, the idea of being patient is you're going to allow this girl to feel safe. She's going to start trusting you, because you're showing her that you're not needy. You don't need her in your life, but you want her in your life, and that's going to make her want to come to you. Okay. Now, the psychology of patience, right? So I've already explained that, taking time, let her coming to you. But now let's go. I've got some bullet points in front of me, and so the playing hard to get. Okay. So in this example right here, then, when it comes to patience and playing hard to get, and if we're going to play games, women play games all the time. So we might as well play games back, okay? Women are designed to chase a man. Now, men need to initiate need to pursue first, up until that woman cares enough to start pursuing you and chasing you. Women like this. They want a challenge. So by you playing hard to get, meaning if she wants to hang out tomorrow, and you've got stuff going on, you need to tell her, listen, I've got a big day tomorrow, that won't work, but I will have time for you in the next couple of days, will that work? And so by you telling her no, first of all, that's going to earn your respect. That's going to earn respect to her because you're telling a woman no. She doesn't hear no very often. So by telling her no, she's going to respect you for that. But because you're also denying her request to see you and pushing it back some, you're making her wait to see you, and she's going to have to anticipate seeing you in those next couple of days. And by also, if you plan to date them, when you want to use the phone, okay? So you want to use the phone to plan a date, schedule that definite date, and then say, okay, you know what, I'll talk to you, I'll see you then. And then you don't talk to her up until you see her. You want to use the phone for planning dates, get to know the girl in person, okay? As a guy, you know, your job really is just to hang out, have fun, and hook up. I learned that word for word from Corey Wayne, okay? That's, like I said, that's the coach I'm studying right now. Awesome guy. And so, you know, I didn't really understand this back in the past up until recently, and this is stuff that I wish I have, right? And so by playing hard to get then, she's anticipating having to see you, right? If you're not talking to her, she's not getting to know information and get to know who you are. That challenge of trying to figure you out is going to be harder and harder and harder because she's going to have to wait to see you in order to get that information out. And then when you do see her, you want her to do 80 or 90% of the talking because women love talking about themselves. So when she asks you questions, first of all, if she asks you personal questions, that's a good thing. That means that she likes you. Girls who are not interested in you will not ask you personal questions, okay? But if she does, you want to give her like very short answers, or don't give her like the whole, like don't just keep talking and talking and talking. Don't tell her everything about you is what I'm trying to say, okay? It's cool to answer her questions. Talk to her, man, go ahead. But you don't want to tell her everything. Women they want a challenge. In fact, I was talking to, she may or may not see this video, but I was talking to a woman that I know, I'm not going to say names, and you know, one of the things that she said is like, she's like, I don't have that challenge in my life when it comes to the guy I'm with like I want to. And she was the first woman that I've ever heard acknowledge that, which is crazy because when you study Doc Love's book, he even says that women don't understand that they want a challenge until you actually bring up that word specifically. Then they're like, oh yeah, that's actually what I'm looking for in a relationship, is I want to have to figure this guy out and pry that information out of him, okay? Now, the importance then of giving her space. So giving someone space can lead to more, you know, obviously to more attraction. And so I'm going to give you a couple examples in this one. If you're meeting a girl for the first time, if you're dating a girl, and then if you get broken up with. Now, this one right here can go both ways, but we'll touch on that in a second. So when it comes to meeting a girl for the first time, right, if you give her space, so if you set up a date, and then you, like, so if you meet a girl on, let's say, a Saturday, and you know she's really into you, and you did not plan a date then, call her on like Tuesday or Wednesday, so most guys will call the girl the very next day. You want to wait at least 2 days, upwards of 4 is what I would say, 2 to 4. The longer you can go, the better, okay? Because if she's really into you, she's going to be happy that you're reaching out to her. And so by getting a girl's phone number and then reaching out a couple days later, you're going to vet her to see if she really likes you or not. I've had several girls that I've got numbers with, and I reached out a couple days later to see if they were still interested in me, and you either don't hear back or they don't schedule dates with you. And so when that happens, you don't talk to them anymore. It's up to them to reach back out in the future. You're either giving them the gift of missing you forever, or they'll reach back out and plan a date. Okay, so when it comes to, you know, making a woman wait on the first date, again, you're building the anticipation. She's looking forward to seeing you. If she already liked you, now she's really going to like you because you're making her wait to figure out who you are. Now, the second one, if you are currently dating somebody. Now, I used to text my girlfriends. I've done this throughout my life all the time. So when you text a girl all the time, she constantly has you in front of her. You're constantly texting, constantly talking. That challenge that she wants is going to go down and down and down and down. She's not going to have that, and she's going to get bored over time. And with that being said, then, like, you're constantly in her face. She never has to worry about you or think about you or miss you because you're always there in front of her. Even if you guys don't live together, if you're constantly texting, yeah, it might feel good to have that connection. That void of being with somebody is filled up because you're talking to somebody. So like right now, if I get lonely in the house, you know, because it's just me and the dog, or the dog and I in the house, I'll go out to like the mall, Target, I'll just go to the store, go to the gym, and I'll put myself in an environment where I can go and talk to other people. So I'm filling that void on myself. But if you're dating somebody, you're already past the first date stage. You already know this girl likes you. So this girl more than likely already knows who you are. So I would say it's even harder then for you to keep that challenge higher so you can keep this girl. Because if you're constantly texting her and you're constantly with her, then that challenge of getting to know you is going to go down, right? And if a woman really loves you, she's going to want to spend all the time. She's going to want to give you all of her attention. Now there are certain situations where this is the actual opposite. She might still love you but prefer being by herself. But if you're in that type of relationship, again, then giving a woman space is even more important then, because these types of people, they were taught as a child to need more space than most people. They find safety in being isolated than being in relationships. So they will come to you, but they need to know that, hey, if you're going to give them space, like you want to give them some time alone, that you need to give it to them, okay? So when it comes to if you're broken up with, okay, you might have heard like the no contact term before if you're broken up with somebody. So if somebody breaks up with you, they've already checked out of that relationship more than likely a long time ago, okay? So at that time, you are losing them. So you are going to feel the pain and it's going to fucking hurt. They're leaving you. So they won't experience that pain. Now, over time, if you do not talk to them or you do nothing, no Facebook, no social media, don't reach out to their friends, their family, don't talk to them, nothing unless they reach out to you, those tables, now this isn't guaranteed to happen for everybody, okay? It depends on the quality of the relationship, who you were with, etc., etc. But those tables, they can flip, okay? And then that person's going to experience the loss because that space has gotten so big that void, if they're not jumping into rebound relationships, is going to be, it's going to be there, and that space is what's going to make them miss you. So if they lost attraction, and that's why they broke up with you. Women won't break up with you if they love you, okay? Now, again, there are situations where a woman can love you and still leave you, but we're not talking about that in this video. Now, a woman won't break up with you if she loves you, so that means that if she did break up with you, your attraction in her eyes went below the 50% threshold, but over time, that can raise back up, okay? That can raise back up because she's going to start reflecting on the positive memories, and that's how creating space in that situation can actually help you very well. Now, like I said, giving someone space who's broken up with you doesn't always work, okay? It depends on the relationship and so many different factors. I'm not a relationship guru, so I'm not going to sit here and say that it works all the time because it might not. I don't know, flip the coin. Now, so we go into that then. So again, if you discuss how reflecting on her feelings and missing you, so if again, like right there, that applies for everything, okay? So if she can't see you, she's going to start missing you. And if you are on if you're going on like the second date, or she's been dating you, or she broke up with you, they're going to reflect on the memories of the positive memories that they've had with you, and that likely will lead to them missing you, especially since women are very emotional creatures. They act based on how they feel in that moment, okay? All right, so let's go on to the next one then. Right here. Cover the idea that people are more drawn to what they have to work for. This plays in the role of scarcity right here. And this also can come back into like re-attracting somebody in your life, depending on the outlook that you have on that. So for example, for me, I have been taught, and I've always held this, but then once I started studying different coaches, it reinforced my idea. If somebody broke up with you, they unilaterally changed the terms of your relationship, it's up to them to fix it. So when they start losing you over time because you're moving on, you need to let them come back in your life and do 100% of the work and earn you back. They left you, that's their loss. Especially if you were a man or woman of value. If their life changed positively because of you, they're going to miss that at some, even if they don't come back, they're going to miss that, okay? Now, so this comes down to a scarcity thing. This can be applied not just in the sense of like talking to women, but for anything. So like, let's look at like the new iPhones, for example. So I just ordered the new iPhone 16 Pro Max, and those were on pre-orders from T-Mobile, right? There's only a certain amount of time that you can get those phones. So I have to sit there, I had to literally work for that, man. I had to go through different hoops to get that. The website was down, then I had to call somebody, then they had to call me back, then I had to call that person, talk to them, and then I finally get the phone ordered. So I had to work to get that phone. The same thing applies here. If you're not giving a girl all of your attention, if you're trying to meet this girl, you're trying to date this girl, or you're already dating this girl, if she has to, again, women want to chase, so she's coming to you. If she's coming to you, assume if she reaches out to you, she wants to see you. So she's putting in the effort to see you. Then you plan a date, and then you set up a time. And okay, babe, see you then. And then you make her wait. And then when she's there, you're giving her her attention. She's choosing to be, she's working for that relationship. If she didn't want to work for it, she wouldn't be texting you in the first place, right? Now, building trust through patience. I covered this at the very beginning of the video. So this comes down to, like, when it comes to building trust through being patient with a woman, remember I said that insecure men are typically what's going to push away like very secure women, okay? So what I mean by that is when you're double texting, triple texting, constantly calling to a woman, you're on the phone longer than you need to be, you're trying to make plans every single time. Like if you go on a date and you make a date before the date even ends, you're telling her that like you need validation, that you're scared to lose her. And so if you plan a time to hang out with a woman and then you make her wait to see you, that right there is the patience that like you're telling her, hey, I'm going to plan a date with you. I'm excited to see you, but I've got a life to live. And when I do see you, I'm going to give you all that time that you're asking for. That's why you're planning a date with me. When you show her that you're not going to chase her like all the other dudes that she's probably talking to or has been with in the past, she's going to feel comfortable saying, you know what, I'm going to go to this guy. Like I can go out and live my own life. I can go out and be free. I can hang out with my girlfriends, do what I want, go to my family's house. I can go to work. I can go to the gym, to the spa. I can do whatever I want. And I won't have to worry about the man that I'm with constantly looking at where I'm at, what I'm doing, if I'm okay, or if I need to validate him. And I can say this because I've been that guy in the past. And I can tell you whether the girl expresses that this is an issue or not, it's more than likely it's going to cause an issue over the long term, okay? Because you're basically being the woman in this situation. You're constantly reaching out to her. Remember I said that women want to be the one to initiate. They want to be the one to chase you, okay? So I already said right here, discuss how you're showing that you're not desperate or needy, right? When you're showing this woman that you want her but you don't need her, she's okay to come in your life or leave your life whenever you want. That right there, that's going to tell her, hey, you know what, I miss him. I'm going to go back to him, hang out with him for a little bit, and then when I'm done with him, I'm going to go out and live my life, hang out with my friends, and then I'm going to go back to him when I miss him. Women, normal, healthy women receive love from their fathers. When they miss their dad, again, this is a healthy family, they miss their dad, they'll go to their dad, they'll get love, they'll recharge for a little bit, they'll get love, they'll feel excited, then they'll run off and they'll go play, they'll hang out with mom, or they'll go do whatever they want. And then when they miss dad again, they're right back, okay? That same dynamic is going to play out in the relationship. So if you're with a dad that emotionally neglects you, likely this woman is going to value independence more than being in a relationship, okay? So that's why if family dynamics do play a big difference in this one right here when it comes to building trust. But I think in either situation right here where you're not pushing a woman to hang out or to talk to her, if she values independence, she's going to feel comfortable that you're giving her that space, especially if she's not used to you giving her space in the past. So if you're with a woman, like I've been in the past, that requires this space more, if you're showing her, hey, you know what, if you want space, go ahead, she's going to be like, hey, thank you for that, okay? Right here. Patience can lead to a stronger connection. Now, so this one ties into two things, okay? So rushing things can lead to mistakes and misunderstandings. When two people, Like, you ever hear that thing like love at first sight? So that definitely does exist. I think it is possible for two people to meet and just hit things off like you really know each other. Like attracts like, okay? So if you guys have a lot of things in common, you're naturally going to feel good in that limerence stage where the brain's producing all these chemicals is going to be at an all-time high and you're going to feel good, okay? I've been with a girl and I felt like this, and dude, it feels amazing. It feels so good when you're in this limerence phase, and this typically happens with every new relationship, okay? But there are people that you will know that you just get along with, and it's easy, right? There will be a difference there, and it just feels really good. So the issue then is if you're constantly love bombing each other, you're rushing into things, you're going to ignore all of the red flags that you would be able to see if you guys planned a date and then waited. And so I planned a date with this girl. I'm not going to name names, but I met this girl at Publix, and then I was talking to her, and then I left. I was like, "Hey, looks like you're busy. I'll see you later." Blah blah blah. We said our each other's names, and she ended up finding me on Facebook and then reaching out to me, super interested. If a girl does that, she's very interested. So I set up a date with her, and then I told her, hey, I'm working right now. I was like, but call me, you have my number, call me if anything changes, and if we have to reschedule, that's cool. All right? And then I ended the conversation, and then 2 days later, so one day before the date, she reached out and she was like, hey, it kind of turned me off that you didn't text me back or you haven't texted me since. I want to talk to somebody before I go out on a date with them. So in other words, I want to get to know you before I go out on a date with you. So I want to know you over the phone before I get to know you in person. And that sounds logical, but what I'm trying to show you guys here is if I'm already having problems with this woman before our first date, imagine what's going to happen 6 months down the road when that emotional bond actually forms, if it went that far, and then you figure out who she really is. Talk about the shit show that may or may not have turned into. That is why we don't want to rush into things, because by being patient with a woman, by setting a date a couple days out and then making her wait, you're going to weed out the people that you don't want to be with, the insecure people that need constant validation or might want to cause problems with you. Those are the people, they're going to weed themselves out, okay? So then you're already, you're disqualifying women that you don't want to be with. And so when a time comes for a normal, healthy woman who can balance having space and being with you, they're going to appreciate that, okay? Because they're going to be able to live their life, and then when they plan a time to see you, then they're going to get to hang out and they're going to get to see you, all right? Now, that comes into then just letting things develop over time. It's going to take, I've heard about 2 months of doing everything right for a woman to fall in love with you. And so if you're on a 60-day probation period with the woman that you're seeing, and she passes the 60-day probation period with flying colors, then you know that there's a very, 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 very high chance that you're going to be with this woman for a long time, because she's got all the green flags going. This girl's giving you she's meeting your needs, you're meeting her needs. You guys are coming together naturally. You're not rushing into things like insecure people do. Something I've done. And yeah, man, the relationship then it's just gonna feel better. It's gonna feel better because you're allowing this person to come in your life without having to force them into it. And when that falls into place, typically that's when you're going to be with somebody where things just naturally fall together and you guys are naturally going to get along. And that unicorn that I just talked about, where you guys love at first sight and it feels amazing, that's typically going to be the person that this may or may not be. All right? Now, so let me give you some tips for practicing patience, because I'll tell you right now, practicing patience, especially if this is something that's new to you, dude, it's a bitch. Especially when we are conditioned to want to text people. I have been texting people all the time, nonstop, for probably a decade at this point. And so just like attachment styles, where they're deep-rooted from decades and childhood, that's where they come from, learning to give someone space is very hard, especially when that's already preconditioned in your mind from years of doing it. So by reaching out to somebody, and now you are going to start anticipating when you get to talk to them. But what you're doing here, by planning a date and then forcing yourself to wait and not acting on it, you're building emotional resilience, and you're going to get better and better at doing this, okay? So let me ask you this thing. So why you want to wait in the first place is this. I think, who was it that told me this? It was, have you ever got the woman that you wanted by repeating the same actions? So the women that I've dated in the past, I have learned, I'm thankful for every single one of them, but every single relationship that I've been in has been a learning lesson on what I like and what I don't like. And so by rushing into relationships, by not being patient, by not disqualifying women that come into your life, I have been in pain because of this. And this is why, again, we don't want to rush into things, because it more than likely is going to lead to a mismatch in personality styles or relationship dynamics, not personalities, over time. But like, when you won't really get to know who someone is until about the 90-day mark and then the 6-month mark when you form that bond. So if you're rushing into things and you're ignoring red flags, you're going to fall head over heels for somebody that could ultimately end up screwing you over, even if it's not your fault. Okay, but if you don't trust what I'm saying right now, if you don't practice what I'm telling you, it's gonna happen to you, bro. It's happened to me. That's why I'm filming this video, to help you guys. All right, so now other things too. So things that let me give you some things on how I can stay patient. Okay, so what this is gonna do is when you plan, like if you text a girl and you have to wait for her to text you back, because remember, we're not double texting, triple texting, we're not doing any of that shit anymore. We're going to text a girl, and then she might text you back a minute later, 3 hours later, a fucking day later, okay? It's like tennis. You hit the ball over the net, you need to wait for her. So if you only have one girl that you're talking to, and that's your girlfriend or your wife, and you're not used to doing this, you're not used to creating this attraction dynamic and making her think about you, it's going to have the same effect on you, okay? You're going to start getting anxiety. That's called, anxiety really boils down to separation anxiety, okay? So by not texting her like this, you're not getting that validation that she's still in your life. That's why you're going to start having these things. So what I do is, if I'm feeling lonely, for example, I'll go out in public and I'll just start talking to random people. Or I'll go outside, walk my dog, get some sunlight. You want to try to change your focus from her to just being busy. Men should be busy anyways, okay? So if there are cases where I can be busy with work and I'll still think about somebody, and I'm like, God damn it, get off of my mind. I might need to take a break from work real fast and go walk the dog or go somewhere to really fill that void that I have by waiting on somebody. And ultimately, when I've done this, every single time I've done this, it makes me feel good. Right, so one of the things that I do is I like to go out and I'll go to the gym, because that's social time. I'll go to the mall. Like I said, I'll go to the store like Target or Publix or Walmart. I don't go to Walmart, but I did go to Walmart today because I was looking for a mouse that my dog chewed up. But there's people there you can talk to all the time. So tips then on being patient. Meditating is a great way. Meditating is another way that you can change your focus on something, because by meditating, if you can pull your focus from thinking about when she's going to text you back to pulling it back into focusing on your breath, that's going to, again, you're pulling your focus from the future on when she's going to text you back into the now on breathing and feeling your body. Meditation has a lot of different benefits to it, and I used to do this. I haven't done it recently. I feel like I need to. It can help with anger. It can help with stress. It can help with anxiety. Breath work is very popular for helping all of these things. So meditation is a way that can help you with anxiety. My best tip on handling anxiety and practicing patience is probably going to be the hardest one out of all of them, because there really is no other way to say this, but it really comes down to quite literally just not acting on your impulse. You are going to want to text this person. You are going to want to reach out to them. You're going to want to call them. You're going to want to double text them. You're going to want to do something. But you have to understand, if you sent that text, or if you got broken up with and you want to reach out to them, or if you planned a date and it's a couple days ahead and you told her I'll see you then, I don't care what you have to do, bro. Don't fucking reach out to that girl. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about this, comment down below and I'll get to them when I can. And with that being said, guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you soon.